Hi everyone, today I'm going to record the 87th chapter of my novel Farishta. So let's start. Today was the hottest day, and they were telling us in the news that this evening it will be hotter than before, and this will be the hottest day of this year. I and Raza were sitting outside of his asylum center. We were talking on different topics. Then I said, other day we were talking about terrorism. If you don't mind, could you please highlight this issue a bit more? He said, I have told you so many things, but you are still unsatisfied. By the way, I am glad that you haven't said anything about all this in your interview. I said, Agai Raza, I know very well what are the topics to discuss and with whom they should be discussed. Then I asked him, do you know German language? He said, I don't know German language, but our housemaster, he did the translation of your interview for us. I think you are very much interested in history and paintings. I said, I'm a tourist guide. I was a tourist guide. After completing my studies, I read lot of books of history. Then I tried to know about Buddhism and Hinduism. He said, let's come to the point. As you are curious about that, today I'll tell you about French journal French journalist, the one who has written book called 9/11. His name is Thierry Masson. His book's name is La Effroyable Imposteur, and it has been translated into many languages. I read this book in French, and I have read English translation as well. In English, the title of the book is 9/11 The Big Lie. The literal meaning of the title is 9/11 The Big Lie. Now let's come to the book. The summary of the book is that Thierry Mesa called 9/11 the biggest American war strategy. On the basis of 9/11, American army raided Afghanistan and Iraq. I said, it's true. American army is in Afghanistan, but they haven't raided Iraq. He said, but according to his analysis, they will attack Iraq as well. Anyway, he explained in the first part of the book, that this whole drama's plot was prepared by American secret agencies. In second part of the book, the title Death of Democracy, he says that the plot of this drama was already written with the help of British Prime Minister Tony Blair before 9/11 incidents. So they did according to the plot, and on 11th September, Twin Towers were attacked by terrorists, as they say that, and very cleverly they entered in Afghanistan, inventing this excuse of terrorist attack of terrorists. They entered in Afghanistan with very well trained army and latest weapons. The sad thing is this, there is no country in this whole world, who opposed them entering in Afghanistan. I would rather call it modern crusades. In third part, he says that Osama bin Laden was trained by American CIA and he was Mujahid. Then they called him Jihadi, and according to them, Jihadi means terrorist. He used to work for American CIA. According to his research, Osama bin Laden and Bush family are business partners. They have share in international oil market weapons. They have shares in international oil market, weapon industry, and distributing medicines. The both families have common company, and the company is called Carlyle Group. The, the Carlyle Group, there are two partners, George Bush and Osama bin Laden. The Americans didn't encourage this book and they denied all the facts which he gave in his book. Even French didn't like this book. About this issue, I tell you another journalist who studied this topic. He is German journalist called Matthias Bruckers. He is the editor of German newspaper called Die Tagzeitung. He refused to accept this allegation that Muslim did all this, and he also says that Muslims aren't terrorists. He wrote on 13 September 2001, exactly after 2 days, this is great conspiracy against Muslims. He wrote in online newspaper called Telepolis, this is total lie. He continued his mission and continued writing about this, that Osama bin Laden has nothing to do with 9/11 and Al Qaeda didn't play any role in all this. They created such a situation just to convince the whole world with the help of electronic media and terrorist propaganda, especially against Muslims, that we have every right to go to Afghanistan for the peace of the whole world. He wrote two books in German language to explain all this, and they were translated into English, which are conspiracy theories and secret of 9/11. Second one is fact forgeries and the suppressed evidence of 9/11. The third person about this event is a German lawyer, politician and writer, Andrea von Bülow. He was the part of many governmental bodies, and these days he is writing book about this, and the title is The CIA and September 11. Die CIA und der 11 September. 11 September. He gave an interview to some German newspaper about this, and he refused to accept this, that Osama bin Laden is involved in all this. Al Qaeda is the real culprit. He said, whatever they say, whatever they are telling the whole world isn't true. It's a big lie. He tried to convince logically to interviewer that it's not easy to find religiously extremist young pilots, and especially they are well trained, who want to die for this purpose. In short time of 1 hour, you hijack not even one, 4 aeroplanes is nearly impossible. To do this kind of act, you have to involve government high officials, otherwise it's impossible. He says, if we uncover the real facts of 9/11, then there are many American high officials, they will be behind the bar. Americans are trying to fool the whole world, and very cleverly they removed all evidence of 9/11. I was looking at Raza's face. Not only me, whole Muslim world is convinced that what American and Europeans are saying is the truth. Look at these French and Germans. They brought evidences and unveiled the real fact of 9/11, that Americans were baffled. After hearing all this, I really got astonished. After hearing all this, I heard Raza saying many times about conspiracy theories, and everyone wrote about this. I wanted to know about this. Raza saw me head down in deep thoughts. He said, "What is bothering you? And what are you thinking?" I said, "I'm thinking about conspiracy theory." He said, "I'm going to tell you about that." The book is called Conspiracy Theory. This book explains stepwise the facts and figures of 9/11. This book tells that this was planned work. I will tell you one by one. First of all, 4 aeroplanes were hijacked. 2 of them struck Twin Towers, one by one. So these buildings were collapsed. One hijacker dropped his aeroplane on Pentagon. They found the aeroplane in the fields of Shakersville, which is in Pennsylvania. American government says that we used to receive warnings about this before. As the aeroplane struck the Twin Tower, everyone tried to guess who is involved in all this. The first name which were announced, they were Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda. First, they spread news that in casualties there was no Jew person. When insurance companies started giving claims to victims, according to their report, there were 400 Jew victims in this catastrophe. Other than all this, Stephen E. Jones, who is physicist, and Richard Gages, who is architect, or Richard Gages, both of them said that building like this can't collapse with aeroplanes striking as they have shown. They say that there must have some special kind of material which was already placed underneath these buildings. So these twin towers came down like this. Steve Jones wrote in Popular Science magazine that to demolish buildings like these, especially skyscrapers, thermite and neothermite is the best explosive material, because after studying the material of collapsed building, they found particles of thermite and neothermite. When American department NIST, National Institute of Standard and Technology, heard this particle studying thing, they swiftly became active and denied this and wrote about this, that these buildings dust weren't studied. As these buildings collapsed, whole world's media became active and they started writing continuously about them. Some of them wrote that these buildings were collapsed because of steel and aluminium melting which was used in these buildings. I've already explained you the melting and boiling point of these two materials, these two metals. When people started learning about reality and scientists started writing articles in science magazine, then once NIST wrote these buildings, structure was weakened because of steel and aluminium. As the frame was weakened, so the building weren't able to bear the weight, so they collapsed. Then researchers studied further and denied NIST theory. They said if these buildings were collapsed because of steel and aluminium, then there should have been 10 to 15 floors collapsed because temperature decreases as time passes. Two French journalists, Thierry Masson, the one who wrote book as well, and others, Dylan Avery, wrote articles about this, that the aeroplanes which fell on Pentagon, in fact it wasn't aeroplane, it was a remote controlled missile. According to them, the holes which they have shown in Pentagon building are 60 feet, and the width of the Boeing 757 is 125 feet and length is 155 feet. Other than that, the conspiracy theorists raised this question that it's impossible that four different aeroplanes from four different destinations, fly for four different destinations, and when they crash, we don't even find one black box of them. They say either they found black box and they didn't tell anyone, otherwise they didn't use aeroplanes for this purpose. Thank you very much. These are very interesting chapters. I recommend you listen them carefully, because in the novel there are journalists, there are parliamentarians, they are telling about the stories, and I hope you like it, like my video, subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. Thank you very much.